top of the morning to you and welcome to 360 Sports on Trust Television, where we go round the circumference, so to speak, to look at what's happening in the sporting world. We go to the round later games and away from the round later games to games like boxing as well, and all of the sports that you'll be expecting sometimes to see on your screen. My name is Martia Umar, and of course we'll be going around 360 to see what's happening with the Premier League, which returned on the 26th, Boxing Day, and all of the actions, the thrillers. We'll get to discuss them today on 360 Sports. I'm being joined in the studio by my analyst. He'll be asking us my analyst today. He's a sport enthusiast and also a sport analyst. Noel Samson, good morning to you.
The pleasure is mine, Miss Maridia.
All right, so, before we get into the actions that panned out in the Premier League, that's after 40 days out of action, we saw what happened, of course, and we'll get to that discussion. But let's get to table tennis, where Aruna Quadri, of course, he is the reigning champions, and the Nigerian table tennis sensation continues his foreign adventure in the game as he takes his game to Bahrain. And Aruna Quadri recently announced his departure from the German club TTC. And after playing in the Bundesliga for 2.5 years, he decided to team up with the Bahrain side, which is 74, and the duration of the Arab Club Championship. And he is now reigning African champion and teammate with Anwar Mekki, Hassan Abdurrahim, Elias, and Mutada Hussein for the 35-team tournament. So Aruna Quadri has been in the news for, he hasn't really had the best of plays in the last couple of months. But Aruna Quadri, when you talk about table tennis players, he's one name that you cannot take away from the squad. As a matter of fact, he is the current African reigning champion. So what would you say, now moving from where he was and then moving to Bahrain right now, do you think that's the right choice for Aruna at the peak of his career? Because in Africa, of course, yes, he's having the best time in table tennis right now.
First of all, most appreciate Aruna Quadri for being one of the best, if not the best, table tennis player we've seen so far from Nigeria.
Okay.
As for him moving from German side to Bahrain, I think probably to me, it might not be the best decision for him, but probably he knows what is best for him and his agents, possibly. And he played in Portugal before, Sporting Lisbon, before moving down to Germany, and so probably he's just trying to test all places before he retires. But to me, I expect him to go probably to a more bigger league. I don't know how competitive the league there in the Bahrain is, but him leaving Germany, Europe down to that side, I think to me it might not be a good one for him, but he knows what is best for him, and his agent probably knows what's best for him. Probably the money again probably is quite good for him. Probably that's why he went to the club also too. Who knows? So, but to me, I don't think he still has to speak of his career. So I don't think him going to such a club or a league that is not that popular or that is not, known to the world, I don't think it's good for him. But he knows his best, and probably his agent who knows his best. So I don't have much to say about that.
Okay, so what do you think that will be for Nigeria? Sometimes when these players get out there, some of the clubs, of course, he has a duty to Nigeria, representing Nigeria in table tennis tournament. But sometimes the terms and conditions could clash with your duty as a table tennis player for your country. Of course, it has to come first. But do you think that, Bahrain is just out there and then we have Nigeria? Do you think that will come in the way of play for Aruna Quadri?
I think before signing the contract, there might be things he has they've seen, probably his agent and probably his lawyer have seen those things that, okay, probably when my country calls, I'm going to go. So probably, he might have seen that. So I don't think it should be a problem. Because they could have seen the contract. I'm not sure that I'm sure he didn't sign other deals.
Oh, those are things. Of course, he didn't sign other.
So he signed. Probably he saw the club approach his agent. They then talked to the agent. Then the agent probably is convinced about the things, and he talked to the player also too. And maybe he's convinced. And the Aruna Quadri, I don't think he will just want to take the club over his country. He's a player who loves his country so much. So I don't think in his contract, I think it should be stated out that, okay, this what I like to play for my country. I would like to play for my country where they need me. So I don't think it should be a problem.
Okay, now when you started your conversation on the show this morning, you talked about Aruna Quadri being a name to contend with, and also how he could be the best table tennis player you've come across in Nigeria. How would you rate the world of table tennis when we're moving from football now? Because we always call for diversification of our sport in Nigeria. How would you rate table tennis now? Let's take Aruna Quadri from the picture. Do you think Nigeria is faring well when it comes to table tennis?
Very well, because actually table tennis actually has more ground in Nigeria than some other sports. Because I actually know from a friend of mine who participated in this all university games, Nuga competition, you can see where you have very good table tennis. It seems as of last 3 years, the best under 20 in the world is from Nigeria. I can't really place it. Usually the best on the third in Africa, something like it's from Nigeria. So you can see the table tennis, our table tennis, the game sport in Nigeria is actually moving, is going up, but actually we don't need sponsors. That's just the major problem. We need more sponsors, more investment. You know, because when you keep football, you keep table tennis. People want to pick football over table tennis, and you can really see people say, being proud of being a table tennis player. Most people just play table tennis for fun, not for the money aspect of it. So if the game can have more sponsors, basically, I think it would be a game to contend with. Because actually in China, that should be one of the best games so far, the ping pong, what they call it there. So if we can invest more in it, looks like the way the Chinese invested more in the sport, I think to contend really with the football. Yeah. But for now, you cannot compare it.
Just imagine a country like America who doesn't have football as their number 1 game and still making
exactly.
it.
Yeah, so
you know, they do a lot of rugby and you know, for a country that calls football soccer. I'm just delving into that. But we are talking about table tennis, and of course, one of the finest table tennis players in Nigeria, Aruna Quadri, just changed side to Bahrain, and of course, he'll be playing his straight there until he says, okay, the contract is over. But let's move away from table tennis. Let's get to some of the problems affecting our football in Nigeria. And, you know, IMC, the Interim Management Committee, was constituted not too long ago when the new NFF board members came in. And from there, we've been having, you know, talks about IMC being charged to make sure that the MPFL comes out, you know, better than we used to see it, and the MPFL taken to a whole next level. But right now, there's something about inheriting about a debt that is about 500 million naira. What would you say about this? An interim management committee that was constituted not too long ago, and then meeting a debt, and you're wondering, how did this come about? How are we going to move away from here? Do we still have the capacity or the financial capacity, just so to speak, to continue with all of this management? Do you think this is really going to affect their performance?
Yeah, what do you expect? It's going to affect. You are paying the ref normally. They are being biased. Then now you are not owning the ref. This is just like, okay, now you are the owner of a Kano Pillars, I'm the owner of a Shooting Star. And the ref, I know the ref they are owning the ref. And I want to play a match that is going, I want my club to win. The thing that was going to happen is that, okay, I'll go to the ref. Okay, I'll foul. I'm going to pay you 100,000.
That's match fixing.
When you're owning the ref, what do you expect?
So this kind of might open some kind of loopholes for corruption.
Yes, because how do you expect the referees to eat? If, okay, for instance, if the ref, okay, this is what I want to do. Because I don't think the refs in Europe, they have any other work to do apart from the referee job they do. I don't think they have any kind of, probably they might have businesses or stuff, but the major work is towards the referee because they are busy week in, week out, and they pay them. So you might, it will not be difficult. It will be difficult for you to just, for them being biased.
Our ref here can add, you know, agriculture to it.
But at least you don't use agriculture is something you still need a little bit of capital. Okay, you are only ref 500 million. That means the ref should be owed for like 1 year. If you are to, assumingly they are owed for 1 year. Okay, agriculture, you have to buy the.
So in other words, what you're trying to say is that, you know, probably if we allow these things continue in the country, we might give room for, you know, match fixing and all of the things that happen, all of the bad things that we do not want to happen.
Even in advanced country, like in the last of you, we have developed where they pay their refs everything, they still match fixing. Then you are coming to a place where the refs are being owed. In fact, that is the king of match fixing to me, because I know the ref is not being paid and I want to win the match. Why not go? It will be the highest bidder. You offer him for 100,000, offer him 200,000. He collects money for you. He collects money from me. So what do you expect? It becomes more like a business and not the love for football. What do you expect? Or any other game. The referee has family he has to feed. He has kids he has to pay them. He has bills he has to pay. He has kids he has to pay their schools, everything. So what do you expect? And with most of our referees in Nigeria, sorry to say, but they are not looking well. And that's just the truth. To really show this is really true, they are not looking well because I don't really know the salary breeze of this referee. I'm not sure they're even paying them well. They're not paying them well, they are not owing them again.
So do you think that all of this contributes to some of the shortfalls we're witnessing with the Nigerian Professional Football League?
Yes, it's part of them. It's part of them. You're owing the ref. You owe the ref, you're owing players. What do you expect? The players are not giving their best on the pitch. The refs are not giving their best on the pitch because they are just going there. So what do you expect? So it's really a bad thing when you see the refs being owed 500 million for what? Is it that they embezzle the money, or they purposely did not want to pay the ref, or there's no money?
No, the interim management committee, of course, they have lots of responsibilities and they need to make sure that things go well because, of course, this is a management committee that's been set up. Now, do you think that, in your own opinion, there's a way out of this?
Yeah, they should. The management should know what to do. Probably if they think money is the problem for them not being able to pay the refs, they should sort for other source of financial assistance, either probably through sponsorship or go to the Minister of Sport and really complain to him that, okay, this is what we have, these issues we have. If the federal government could help, those are the things I think they could do. But you holding the ref is really a bad thing. It's not something you should hear of, because the ref, they decide of the game. They decide what happens on the pitch. And whatever the ref says is final. You can think, okay, probably after the game, okay, maybe the ref is this, but either you like it or not. If this club has won, they have won.
Okay. I hope that is not what is happening in the Nigerian Professional Football League or any other league, the local leagues that we have in the country. But let's move away from that. Let's take a look at, other footballing nation. I'm talking about Cameroon right now, and there've been some kind of news, not so pleasant news about Fecafoot. And of course, the former Cameroonian international goalkeeper condemned Fecafoot management of players. And this is a former player of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, Joseph Antoine Bell. And he is condemning the Federation of Cameroon Football Association and the management of players. And the Inter Milan goalkeeper, Andre Onana, last week announced his retirement from international football, decision that shocked football followers across the world. So this is coming out of Onana saying that, see, I'm hanging my boot for international football right now. It just seems that this problem is just not a Nigerian thing. It's a footballing thing. There are some kind of shortfalls in some of this football committee that's been constituted. And in this case right now is Fecafoot, of course, our neighbors here in Cameroon. And this is as follow the backdrop of Onana resigning. Did you feel like there was something wrong when Onana said, no, I'm not doing this anymore? Yeah,
we are having different stories. Onana said his own part of the side of the story. The federation said their own part of the story. So we don't even know who to believe. So it's quite unfortunate that when we heard the news that he was being he left the team there in Qatar. So I expected he actually beneficiaries that, okay, this is going to happen, that he's going to resign, because it happened to Hakimi Ziyech of Morocco. Yes. He resigned from international football before the coach that made him resign. Then they sacked him. Then he had to come back, pull out of retirement. Pull out of retirement to play the World Cup. So I don't know. Probably if they change the management, Onana might come back. Who knows? But only God knows what the problem is, because what the coach said, what he said, the coach debunked the news that I know. That's what happened. So who are we to believe? Probably the players. So
now we have a former Cameroonian international who has actually been a goalkeeper before. He has been inside. One thing I understand, getting to understand sports, is most of the stories you hear out there, of course, there's an inside story.
Yes.
Story from the locker room. Yes. You can imagine.
Yes.
So this is an insider coming out to say that, the management of players in Fecafoot is not what, it's out there or what people expect it to be. And he's corroborating the story of Onana. And then a coach is saying something different.
That's to say that means Onana is right. Because if
oh, now you're giving your final verdict.
That's because I said earlier, I say only the players could say, because if the players could say something, Onana says something, the coach says something different. You can see there are two different stories now. The only people who can say the main thing about now are not the players. Because now majority will carry the vote. Now, he has said it. The coach said no. Now, an ex-international, I just said it too. So what are you saying? It means that he has experienced such thing. He has experienced such thing before. So the federation have to now work on himself now, because now the truth is now coming out. We are not trying to say the truth now.
All right, let's move away from the shores of Nigeria and, of course, Africa. Let's move to the world stage now, where the Premier League resumed on Boxing Day. A lot of people were waiting for action, and Arsenal fans will never forget to remind you that they're top, and they maintained that top position yesterday, 40 days after the action was turned down. So Monday's 7 fixtures produced a bumper of 25 goals, with the table toppers Arsenal showing us that yes, we are the big boys, and they're not letting up they're not letting anything come jeopardize that big boy. So Southampton found themselves, not being anywhere to be found, and Arsenal lie 7 points clear of the second position. Now, looking at the games yesterday, let's take the results of yesterday's match. Now, looking at the results, we saw that Arsenal, that was the last match that was played yesterday.
Yes.
We saw Arsenal defeating West Ham. It was a derby. And it was a derby.
From 1-0 down.
And it happens that Arsenal is the only team that played at home and won their match yesterday. Yeah. What a surprise.
Yeah.
And that's showing us that, they still got this. And then let's take a look at the result. Brentford versus Tottenham, it ended a draw, and it was 2-2 at the end of the game. Crystal Palace played with Fulham. At the end of the game, it was a 3-0. That was a derby. And then Everton 1-2. Everton and Wolverhampton Wanderers were in action 1-2 in favour of Wolverhampton. And then Leicester City were in action with Newcastle. It seems Newcastle had their own there. They held their ground, and it was 3-0 in favour of Newcastle United. Southampton and Brighton and Wolverhampton were in action. It was 3-1 at the end of the match. Aston Villa and Liverpool were in action. Aston Villa couldn't prove a point yesterday. It was 3-1 in favour of Liverpool. And then Arsenal, the men of the moment, the team of the moment, the club of the moment, played 3-1. It was a win for Arsenal, and West Ham couldn't reply about 2 goals yesterday. So looking at the matches I found out yesterday, Arsenal, it seems to be holding their ground.
Yes.
Against all odds, they're progressing, and they've been able to break that Boxing Day jinx. Yeah.
Actually, before Premier League, during the World Cup, because Arsenal fans posting, they'll see post the table. I'm just trying to remind you guys, we are at the top. So yesterday, when they scored one, you can say, yes, we told you, Arsenal, after World Cup is over. And surprisingly, it became 1-1. So 2-1 became 3-1. So surprising. So you can see Bukayo Saka, fantastic player. Despite the absence of Gabriel Jesus, because he got injured in the World Cup, Arsenal are still trying. I don't know if Arsenal if they can maintain the momentum to the end of January, they are winning the Premier League, and that is the truth. Despite they scored them, they can see how they still try, they struggle to make sure they were able to win their matches today. Kudos to Arsenal. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but no. When the team is doing well, you just have to give them. They are trying their best, and I'm proud of them.
It was kind of a mixed feeling for some new bosses yesterday in the game. Their managers still trying to find their feet with the new clubs in the Premier League. Before the match yesterday, Brentford and Tottenham, Thomas that's the coach of Brentford now, has his extension of play. And we're looking at it, Tottenham has not been in a really good form before the World Cup. And we're expecting maybe like Brentford giving Tottenham a fight for their money. Do you think that, there's still a chance for Brentford, for a team or club rather that was exiled from the Premier League, and now we have Thomas, who came in, changed the whole game, finished 13th, now in 10th position, and they're still waxing strong?
Yeah, Brentford, we call them, we probably we call them spoilers. Because now, either no matter how they wax, they can't carry the Premier League. But still, those that have the opportunity of winning the Premier League, they try to spoil their chances. And that's what happened yesterday.
Okay, so at Goddard's Park too, we had that Everton's match, and then we also have a coach who's trying to find a place for himself as well, you know, in that match.
Yeah, it was quite. Everton played well yesterday, but no, what the God of soccer is not there behind you. There's nothing you try. It's just as if you're wasting your time.
Okay, now you know, Lampard is on the limelight now. Do you think that pressure is growing on him?
Yeah, it's growing on him. Pressure is growing on Lampard. Really, he's a legend, a Chelsea legend, and England legend. You know, when during his playing days, they're fantastic. So people expect him to replicate what he did during his playing days as a coach also too. But fortunately, let me don't use the other word. Fortunately for him, it's not going as being planned. Because now, when he was at Chelsea, the same thing happened. They play well, and the problem is those the end result. That is just the truth. You see them playing, have good playing, everything, possession, everything, but now the end result is the problem. And that's what is happening also too with him at Everton. They are playing the game nicely, but it seems they are not just getting that bite they need to score more goals. I don't know, maybe he has to work on it. Or probably if he doesn't work on it, I think probably the owners of Everton are just giving probably to the end of the year, or probably by January if it doesn't still improve. Probably he might be looking for a new club, and that's what I'm thinking. Because it happened to Gerrard when he signed for Aston Villa. It was quite
Gerrard,
it was like no, Gerrard was hot, but
a lot of people had a lot of hopes for Aston Villa when he came in. Because of his antecedents with
Rangers in Scottish League, you know. So when he came down, but you cannot compare Scottish League and Premier League. The difference is quite clear. So people are giving hope much on that. Like, okay, because he did a good job in Scotland, he's going to do a good job here in the Premier League. I was saying no, the difference is clear. You cannot compare the competitiveness, the standard, and the competition in Scotland with that of Premier League. It's quite different. So
that was the case of Thierry Henry too.
Yeah, exactly.
We have lots of good internationals who getting into the coaching world. It was a new game entirely.
Different thing. You can see when he was in Monaco, he was finally fired at Monaco because he wasn't delivering. So I don't know. It seems I've said it earlier before, in this show before, that probably it seems the football those that are best of players during their playing days, becoming coach, it's no longer, they don't actually perform well as that. And that's just the truth. Okay,
do you think that the VAR fared well yesterday?
Yeah, tried his best. There's nothing we can do. Either we say if you fared well, what has happened has happened. There's nothing we can do. But they just need to improve on one or two things. That's what I can say about it. Yeah.
All right, so let's move to a team that has agreed to sign a young star, Cody Gakpo. And we're seeing that Cody Gakpo has agreed to sign, Liverpool rather, has agreed to sign forward. And that's coming from PSV Eindhoven. And Liverpool has agreed to sign. Gakpo is just 23 years old and had an impressive World Cup. His play was impressive in Qatar, scoring 3 goals as he helped the Netherlands reach the quarterfinals. And the fee for winger is expected to be between 40 million to 50 million euros. And then PSV say that Gakpo will travel to England to complete the deal, adding that it will be a record transfer for them. And Liverpool have made a move with forward Luis Diaz and Diogo Jota facing lengthy spells on the sidelines. And Manchester United also tried, but they were not the team to pick up.
If I were to be Gakpo also, I would go to Manchester United with what's different.
Why wouldn't you allow? Okay. Do you think he's not going to have a play? Do you think he's not going to get into the squad and display somebody else?
What happened with Ronaldo? Ronaldo is a legend. Everybody respects. Probably Ronaldo is one of his idols. With what happened with him and Ronaldo, if Ronaldo can be, his contract could be terminated like that, then who am I?
So are you saying that Cody made the right choice moving from PSV at
because Liverpool doesn't have a fixed 9, which is a problem they have. Jota is injured, Luis Diaz out, and Nunes is not. I'm not sure it's a top 9 like that. Even though it's a top 9, I'm not sure it's that more potent as that of Gakpo. So if I have to be Gakpo, I'll go because in Liverpool he's going to play a lot of ball. He's going to play a lot. He has Salah to help him out, another midfielder. So if I were to be, his name, Gakpo, I would go to Liverpool. Van
Dijk actually made a statement recently and he said that he's a good lad, he's just 23 and he can go to the moon and back. Do you agree?
Yes. And I'm sure his influence also played towards him coming to Liverpool also too. So to me, as a person, instead of going to Manchester United, why not go to Liverpool? Because going to Manchester United, you have Rashford there, you have Martial there. Probably they might want to.
So now it's all about the squad now that they've gathered together.
Yes.
So it's all about helping him improve his skills.
Yes.
All right.
Now it's not about as a footballer to me. It's not about you going. Okay, you cannot be one of the best striker in the whole world and you play for a middle table team. You can't be more. They won't see much of you like when you play for a big team, and that's just the truth. You can't see more of when you play for a big team. You playing for a big team shows more of you, shows more how potent you are because you have good defenders, you have good wingers, you have good midfielders that don't feed you with ball. So him coming to the Premier League, it's not going to be easy for him adopting at the first time, but I believe he's going to perform. He's going to be great. He's going to perform well at Liverpool.
All right. We wish Quadri a very, very best wishes as he moves his career to the Premier League, and wish we could have more discussion. Thank you so much, Noel, for your analysis this morning and sharing your opinion about the happenings in the world of sports. Okay, it's a day after the Boxing Day. Matches will still be played, but we'll keep you updated when we come back at 5:30 p.m. on 360 Sports, only on Trust TV. My name is Martia Umar. I'll see you again in a few minutes. Stay with us.